So in the last class we discussed still exceptions, right? And how to handle those exceptions, how to create our own custom exceptions. So actually, I want to tell you something. So while writing throws keyword, I mean, you can't write it at class. You can only throw it either at method level or at constructor level. Actually, I told you that we can write it at class level too. It is not. I mean, we can only write the throws keyword at the method level or at the construct level. That is because if you write at the class level, this theorem doesn't know like which method is going to throw that exception or which action is going to give us the exception. So when we write at the method level, then that means that block is going to give us the exception. So you can write the throws keyword either at method level or at a constructor level. And there are some predefined classes that may throw exception. So for those predefined classes, we'll write them like, let's say there is a file reader class and file writer class we have in Java. These classes will throw IO exception, like when file is not there, whatever we are trying to read, that file is not there in the given path, then we'll get an exception. So those classes will throw exception, these file reader and file writer predefined classes. So while using the methods of those classes, we'll keep the exception at the method level only, even if that class, like we don't use, let's say there is a scanner class which is a predefined class, we'll use the methods of those class by creating object in our class. So similarly, whenever we want to read a file or something, we want to deal with the files, we create an object for that file or file class, and then we'll use the methods of that class. So those methods will throw IO exception. So whenever we are using that methods or when we are dealing with files in our method or in our class, we'll keep throws keyword at method level or at the constructor level, like wherever it is necessary, we'll keep that. So we cannot use that throws keyword at the class level. Note that point. So we are done with exceptions. The next concept is files. So if you have any doubt, still exception, or you got some errors while practicing exceptions, you can keep in the chat window or you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay. I'll be talking about files today, which is very important topic. Like in our project, we used files, so it is necessary to know about these. So all the classes, like whenever we are dealing with files, to read the input from files or to write into files, whatever, or to add some information to the existing file, to delete a file, all these operations can be done using the file input stream, output stream classes or file class we have. They are all in java.io package, which is Java input output, which is an API basically, which will help us to deal with Java IO in the sense input output. So you'll take input from either file or an input device, let's say console. You will take input from there. So this Java input output stream works based on streams. Have you heard the word streams before? Streams in the sense it will transfer the data in bytes between applications. So it will read data. Let's say there is a text file in which there is some characters or some strings. It will read those characters and convert them to bytes, and it will transfer to other application or like wherever we are, like if you are going to print that or if you are going to output that onto a console, it will be converted into bytes. So again you will have to convert into character, and then you will be outputting that information from the file. So this is a predefined package. So it works based on streams. Streams in the sense like bytes, flow of bytes, like how water will travel in stream. So that is how the information, that characters is is converted to bytes, and that is transferred from one application to another application. So we have two super classes, like two major classes in Java input output package. Uh, let me, so this is Java input output package, right? For input, we have input file input stream class, and for output, we have output stream class. And there are several methods of these classes which we can use to read from the file and to write into the file, or like not into the file itself, that may be any device, like device in the sense any input device like a printer, or let's say taking input from the console. These are all like a device it may be, or file it may be, anything to take input. We'll use input stream class, and to output we'll use output stream class. So up to now it's clear, right? So okay. So in so how the flow goes is, let me show you. Let's say there is an input. Let's say there is an input device. That may be console or any input device. Input device in the sense keyboard, or we have input devices, right? Peripheral devices we call them. That may be any input device. You take the input from that using input stream class. These are all characters because we are going to enter in characters in char form only. Okay, remember that. So, and then what happens? These are converted into bytes. Bytes in the sense zeros and ones and zeros like this. These are converted and these are traveled like that. And we'll write a Java program or Java application in which we are going to perform all these things. And these zeros and ones are provided as input, sorry, to the output stream. Output stream input are bytes. You got my point? The bytes that were from the input stream, and this output stream take the input in bytes form and output in and convert them into characters and output them. Output can be again anything. An output device in the sense that may be printer or something, output device, and or files. You can write into files or you can print on the console. So here we are talking about files. That is our main aim to read about files. So this is the flow. We'll take the input using input stream class, and that input stream class will convert that into bytes and give that as an input to output stream class. Then output stream class again take that bytes as input and convert that to chars and output it. So this is the stream. This is like a stream, right? So transferring data in form of byte. So this is how the flow happens. And actually we have several classes to mean. These are the two super classes. Super classes, you have heard about super classes like the base class, parent class. So these two are the parent classes, and there are several other classes to read from files. Let's say we have file reader, file writer, file reader class. We have file writer class. These are all predefined classes. We create an object for these and then we'll use the methods of that. And we have a file class. To deal with files, we have several classes. And there is buffered reader and buffered writer. So difference between, I'll tell you, very simple actually. So buffered reader. And these are also used to deal with files. but the only difference is oh sorry, this is buffer writer. So okay, the only difference between streams and buffer reader is in streams. So whenever it is dealing with files, some let's say a particular memory block is assigned, or some memory is like by default some memory is used, only that particular memory inside that, only that particular memory block is used for operations. But in buffer reader we can, let's say, it will expand, or like it will be based on, like if you want to add more memory, like if you want to use some more memory, then using buffered memory will be the efficient option. Let's say if you are using file, when you know the size, actually by default, like at the beginning of your program, you know the size, that may be like if you are dealing with arrays, let's say, and you know that there are 25, that the length of array is 25 at the beginning of the program itself. And if you don't know at the middle of the, while dealing and while writing the program, you want it to be extended to 30, so then you will use buffered reader and buffer writer. And also why this is introduced is, I'll tell you an example. Let's say there are two files, file 1 and file 2. So using streams, that is input stream and output stream, each time only one character is passed. But using buffered, a bag of or a bunch of information is transferred to from one file to another file. It is fast compared to this input stream and output stream. That is the difference between streams and buffer. Okay, so this is a like thing you need to know before dealing with files. Let's say a simple example. I think you are listening. I hope. Okay, where are we? Okay, here, right? So one of the before dealing with files, you need to import java.io.package. Let's see an example. I'll create a new class again. That is, let's say, files, because we are dealing with files. So now, whenever I want to read from a file or write into a file, whatever, if you want to deal with files, then you need to import that package java.io. Again, see, these are all the classes you can use actually to deal with this file. See, buffered input stream, buffered output stream, buffer reader, buffer writer. Again, these are all the classes you can use to you can, using scanner class, how you read from the console, and then data input stream. We mainly use this file writer and file reader, and file writer, file input stream, file output stream. So I'll keep a star, so we can use any class. Okay, all the classes are imported if I keep star. Okay, so basically we have three streams in Java. One is input stream, output stream, and error stream. Input stream, output stream, in the sense, you know, system dot out dot println. This is the output stream. System dot in. This is the input stream, and system dot error. So we have these three streams in Java. Output stream to output, input stream to take input, error stream to display error. Okay, only three streams. So okay, so now we imported the package. Now what is our next step? Anyone? Whenever you want to use methods of a particular class, what should we do before using those methods of any class, not only predefined class? if you want to use methods of a particular class in your present working class, what is the thing you need to do at first? Can we use the methods directly? Like I can call the methods directly, or do I need to do something? Yeah, tell. You can see it here. What they did here in the PPT, you can see in this slide. First, what you need to do if you want to use methods of any class, you need to create an object for that class. This is very important. If you want to use methods of any class in your class, you need to create the object for that class. So here we'll use first file class. We'll see all the classes. So here first we'll use the file class. So file equal to new file. So here you need to provide the path. And providing path, we have two. You need to remember one thing. Let's say you want to access a normal folder. Let's say an F directory or E directory, which doesn't require a permission. So you keep the path normally. Normally in the sense, let's say I want to create it here. Then I'll give the path here, just that like this. Or I'll create a folder here. Let's say okay, a folder. So all the practice will be stored here. So inside this, I want to create a file. So I'll give the path like this here inside it. And let's say the file name will be okay test.txt. That can be anything. So you will keep this directly, or you can keep. And one more thing you need to remember about giving path is if it is like if this directory needs permission, let's say that may be C drive or any other drive which requires permission. See, you cannot create or access or modify files in some direct drives, right? Like C drive, which has this system information. So while giving path at that, you need to use the double slashes. So yeah, that is the thing you need to remember. Directory that requires permission to create file or something in Windows, you have to keep like this. Okay. In Mac or Linux, you can give directly. So here now I created a file. Okay. So I'll write, I created a new file. Now I'll use this. Wait. So with this name in this folder here in practice, I created an object for the file name and I created a file like this. This is a string. This is the syntax actually. File, this name can be anything. That is the object name. New file equal to path name. So here it creates an object of the file using that path. Now you created an object, not the exact file. You created the object used in that path. So in that path, you okay. There is some work regarding files in this path. So it creates an object at that path. Now you can perform some file operations at that path, like creating a new file, or you can get the name of an existing file, or if there is a file already that exists in that path, then you can delete that file. You can write something into the file. And one such method is to create a new file, that is f dot create new file. Okay. Okay. It's not. Okay, wait. I'll just simply give the in the same directory. Let's wait. Why it's not giving any? Okay, sorry. Before using this class, you need to throw the exception because there is a chance if that file doesn't exist or if the given path doesn't exist. Let's say in the given path, whatever the path we provided, if there is some error occurred and this JVM unable to read that file, then it will throw an exception. So you need to write that exception, which is IOE exception. And also you need to keep that in, you need to keep this in try catch every time because there's a chance that this will throw you an exception. So you will keep that in try catch. IOE exception. In cases where this Java cannot create a file, in such cases, uh, exception will be thrown. Okay, so I'll run the file. Okay, I'll write something here that it is created or okay. Okay. It is showing file created, and in which directory it will create the file where all these files where I'm working, all these files, I think it's F file directory F in Java training, I guess. Here. I'll search here. I'll provide a path, or else you have to search for that file. Let's say I want to create here we already did this. I want to create it here. So I'll give this. See, it is created here. Which is an empty file. Okay. Let's say I will run this again and see what happens. New file created. It will replace that. Okay. So yeah. So this is one method to create a file, and we have different other methods in this file class to get the name, to delete that. You just have to keep f dot. I'll show you. You can use all these methods on your file. And this create new file will actually give you a boolean value like true or false. Like true if it is created, false if it already exists. Okay. We'll print this. Okay. See why it is showing us false. That is because file already exists in this directory. That is, yeah, because we already created before. Let me delete it and run it again. I'll delete this. Okay, now it is empty. So we'll run it again. Now it is true because it created a new file. Okay. So every method returns some methods return boolean value, and we have different method. Actually, we have another method to get the length. That is, it will give number of characters in file. Like f dot delete is to delete, and if it doesn't exist, then it will give you false. If it is, if it is deleted, then it will give you true. So as I said, this is the return type. This is the function name. Function name colon return type. So get absolute path will give you the path of that file, and get name will give the name of the file. We have length C here. So it will give you the length. Okay. F dot length of that file. I need to store in here. Let's say in line equal to here. Okay. This is long. It will return long value. Okay. Now I'll print this too. Line. We'll write something in here. Okay. First we'll get it. So initially it is 0. We'll write something. See, it will give you the number of characters inside that. Okay. So you can try different methods which are there in that. This is file, and to read and write we have file reader class and file writer class. Actually, you can try them on your own, but I'm going to explain them. You just have to create a file reader class object. So as I said first, that is also in the IO package, so you don't need to import it again. So file reader f equal to now file reader, same class, let's say. Okay. And now you just have to use the methods. Though we have read. See why it is showing int. That is because it will convert that character into ASCII values. It will return the ASCII value of that character. This file dot read method. That is, so it will give the ASCII value of that character. Let's say this is in here, we have this one, right? So it will read as the ASCII character of that I and then again M, like that. So if you try to store that in a variable and you want to print it, then you need to convert again that into character, because that is in ASCII character. Okay. So with this read function will read in ASCII character, and we have other methods too. And whenever you open a file, you need to close it after you after I mean after using that file, which is very important, because otherwise it will cost you a lot of memory. So we have read, wait, and we don't use all these methods right now. Mostly we'll use read, write, read only. and then close. And in file writer class, similarly, you create an object for that, and then we have write method. You can try them. Since I already kept this throws IO exception for this main method, I don't need to specify for everything, because all these files, whenever you are using some class of this IO package, it will throw you an IO exception. So you have to write it at the beginning of the method declaration. It will be NF. Okay. So you can use that. We will see in detail in the next class. If you have doubts, till now you can ask me. So again, file reader. You can actually try on your own. Since you already know how to create an object, give the file name and see if how it works. File reader, file writer. And then I think in the next class itself, we can start our project. Yeah, anything else you have to ask, you can ask, or else you can leave. You can keep that in the chat window as well.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
If you don't have any doubts, you can leave.
Good morning, ma'am.
Or if you have something to ask, yeah, you can ask.
Ma'am, after completion of
Are
this
you
course, can you
speaking?
provide any
Actually,
certificates,
I
ma'am?
cannot hear you.
1 minute, ma'am.
Look, are you speaking something?
Ma'am, can you provide certificates after completion of?
Wait. Can you keep in the chat window connected, but still I cannot hear you? Can you please provide any clarification, ma'am? Clarification on what? Want me to clarify any topic again? Which topic? Files? You want to ask me something? You can. Actually, those certificates and all, you need to contact the admin team. The only thing I'm concerned is about the training, okay, and the projects.
Okay, ma'am.
And after all these, after all the concepts covered, we are going to give you some tasks, and you need to do them. And then again, we'll start the project. Okay. So if you don't have anything else,
Okay, ma'am.
you can leave the session. I'll be waiting like for 1 more minute. If you have something, you can ask me, or you can leave. I think uh, okay, I think I'm clear. Okay then. Bye. Thanks for today's class.